Oh, hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin, fresh off another victory and one that we probably didn't expect to happen. How you guys feeling tonight?
Less confused than last week somehow, but more at the same time.
I just want to welcome you to modern football. Welcome you to competent coaching. You know,
this is beyond competent.
Yeah,
I mean, Coach of the Year conversation. I think already.
I was going to say it earlier than later. Thank you for saying it. You can say it without any. I don't know. What's the word for it? Like that. It's a fact. He's in the conversation already.
Yeah,
for sure. Early in the season, he has to be there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's a lot of franchises that have enjoyed, coaches that know what's going on for a long period of time, and we haven't had a coach that knew what was going on for a long period of time. It's nice to have coaches that are living in reality.
I don't think just one. I think a lot. I think
all of our coaches,
the top three guys are really all doing work right now. And I mean, it trickles down, obviously, just like the Trump tax cuts. Oh, wait, I mean the opposite of that. Excuse me. Yeah. It's actually working this time. Although, if you want to take Mara out of the equation, you can. So,
which is exactly what happened. I think
that's exactly what happened. Yep.
Shane took him out of the equation.
Yeah.
Which needed to happen. And I just every week we win a game, I just sit back and I just wonder what is going on right now, because there's no reality where you look at this roster and see these wins, and especially in a game like flying, to Europe or whatever you want to call England and Britain, overseas to play a team that's far better than you, and to have even a shot to win, let alone actually come out with a win, and somewhat of a convincing one at that, in my mind, at least.
I'd agree.
It was my dad called me after the game, and I said words came out of my mouth, and it was true. It was a coaching masterclass. It was like what you can throw out there as a course for what to do given how little you have.
Yeah,
I agree, man. So much. I mean, it's just like every personnel group is just playing so much better than the people in it. I mean, maybe other than the interior offensive line, which has just been atrocious all season, specifically on the pass blocking, but everybody's playing at their level. I mean, who the heck was even playing wide receiver this week?
Well, Darius Slayton, where was this?
He stepped up.
Big time.
I hope we see him more, because think I understand completely why the opportunities were taken away from him because of the struggles he had. But if you're going to come out and he was dropping the ball. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But if you're going to come out and play like he did this week, I think that's a huge plus for this team, especially at a group that's so thin. I mean, it's wild.
And with Wandell coming back real soon, that's a great thing.
Hopefully. I mean, I think it's obvious that the coaching advantage that we have now, I think you could argue, I would say 4 of the 5 games we played, the other teams had, obviously more talent than we did. And we figured, this coaching staff figured out a way, and it reads on the field. They have a very focused idea of what to do. There's some mechanic behind it that I'm not sophisticated enough to understand, but, we're going to do things that our team is capable of doing, and we're going to scheme it in a way that the other team's not going to know what we're doing. And it's a recipe that seems to be working. And I had like a feeling in the middle of the game on Sunday. I think it was, what was that score? Was it 13-20 at one point?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like pretty confident we were like going to win the game. And I, of course, didn't say anything or outwardly.
Yeah. I think I felt the same.
You really felt that at that moment that they were going to win? Because I was skeptical up to the last minute.
Everything they were doing, they were dominating possession. Everything they were doing was working. And it just seemed like there was like a bottomless pit of interesting plays. There weren't many like plays for losses except for a couple sacks. And, they just had such a variety of, from wildcat to, the reverses to all sorts of different, just quick strikes across the middle of the field. It was just really enjoyable. And I think, again, this is what we've been saying, like the product on the field, we didn't expect them to be, winning this many games, but it's just been night and day.
Fun to watch, I think, is
Yeah.
where what you're trying to say,
Well,
right?
it's
Which is what we've ever
beyond
wanted.
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Now
it's
they're
a
winning.
massive indictment on the coaches of the past 8 years or whatever since Tom Coughlin left. Every single one of those coaching picks that was retrograde and behind the times, and we've just fast forwarded, like time warped the franchise, and it's awesome. It's super fun.
When you have a guy, like when you see a Dory Jackson go down and you have someone, not even Nick Cloud, because he held his own for the most part, but Justin Lane coming in and laying the smackdown, the physicality came, and he was just like, you're just thrown in there, figure it out. I was listening to McKinney after the game on The Fan, and he was like, he couldn't say enough about those two guys, how they came in, and it was just like, it was lockstep. It all just continued on, and no one was worried about it. Didn't even have to talk to them. They knew their assignments. The roles were figured out. Wink had it on lock, and it was just like business as usual.
Well coached.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, just like everything they're doing with right now just would lead you to believe that they wouldn't be winning games. What the NFL is so, passer focused, huge quarterbacks, big quarterbacks. They're running the ball. They're the best rushing offense in the league. They're playing like a high, risk, high reward type of defense. I'm just astounded of the production they're getting out of the personnel. I mean, yes, on offense, you have Saquon Barkley, who is your only weapon. And Daniel Jones, he had a great game. You're not going to take that away from him, are you guys, this week? Or
No. That was, I said it when we were texting. It was the best game he's played in 4 years, probably.
I mean, it's just like the coaching is just like amazing with the adaptation. I mean, honestly, like when they came out in the first quarter and a half, they didn't look good on both sides of the ball.
No,
I was, convinced this was going to be like a beatdown. And then whatever the coaching staff is doing to adjust to these situations on the fly is just insane. And putting the players in the positions to make those plays. They were setting the edge on defense. Julian Love is a guy I can't praise enough for just his physicality and like playing downhill. I mean, it's just so interesting to see how well this is going. I don't even know how to feel. Are we actually a good team? Like, I don't know.
Before you jumped on, this was the actual conversation we were having. We're going to wait to expand on it until now, of course. But I think this might be because TJ said, we're a bad team. We're playing well. And then I'm like, or are we just kind of a good team all of a sudden? Is that possible? We're a depleted talent-wise team, but we could be good.
Yeah. Like our stats, like our talent levels here, but our coaching's here. Other teams have talent levels that are here and coaching that's here. Or, our coaching is compensating incredibly for the talent that's on this team. And we're only going to get, hopefully, knock on wood, barring a continued slew of injuries, like a lot of key players back, which is really exciting.
That needs to happen soon. I do have to
Not
say,
Kadarius Toney though.
Well, no,
he'll never be back.
Guaranteed, he's never playing for us again. I don't care.
I'll call that right now with you, Colin. Man, I agree. I don't think he ever plays a game as a Giant again.
And I hope he keeps mouthing off on Instagram and Twitter and whatever the hell he's doing, talking all sorts of goofy talk. Literally.
I can't even translate what it means.
He's a grade A moron, and I wish he would just shut up and get healthy. And if he's milking his injuries, which it seems like that's a possibility given our sources, well, there's no reason for it. And you're part of the last regime, and you're 1 foot out the door as soon as we can get you out.
I also like when you say given our sources, like that's a legit source too.
Well,
it's the one thing we got on this podcast.
I want to say my favorite part of the offensive play calling was waiting until it was either, I can't remember off the top of my head, it was either the end of the first quarter or the beginning of the second quarter, that first designed quarterback draw. And it was just like, oh, his ankle isn't that bad. There it is. All week, you don't really know, but there it is. Yeah. And then he was running a bunch for the rest of the game.
I mean, no, I think he was hurt still, but I think it forced him to throw the ball a little more. And I think we did see a little bit better from him in the pocket. I think there was moments where he did step up and maybe made two and even 3 reads occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, you can't take anything away from Jones. I still don't think that Jones is the answer at quarterback, but
no.
if he builds upon this performance and is consistent in building upon it, then maybe you have the conversation at the end of the year about what you do with him.
And we're not
But
there yet.
It's not, a Watson deal or a Mahomes deal. It's not that. But I mean, look, I don't want to discount this guy while he's surging, but it needs to be consistent. We need to see it more.
Yeah, we should talk about him. Let's get our thoughts out on Daniel Jones in this game.
Well, it was the first time, and I think it might have been Mark Sanchez on the broadcast himself saying it, but he said, like, as soon as someone went down, I forgot who went down, and it was just like, well, what's Daniel Jones going to do right now? Is he literally going to put the team on his back and make this happen? And then he just proceeded to do so, which is exactly what we were asking for.
I feel like Mark Sanchez was like seeing himself in Daniel Jones the whole game, and he seemed to be rooting for the Giants and like getting really excited when Daniel Jones is doing well, which I enjoyed, because otherwise I really don't like Mark Sanchez as a commentator.
Well, do you remember on the play where it was right on the goal line and David Sills got that first down and he was turned around for a second, and you can hear Mark Sanchez on the broadcast say, turn around.
Yep,
and he did, and he caught it. It was like,
on that same drive, Jones, I forget, he threw an out route to somebody where they got the first down, and Jones was like, and Mark says like, oh, he's got him. That's exciting. He also, after the reverse, said that Dable likes to spice up the water, which I thought was an interesting phrase that I've never heard before. So he's just pouring
liquor in the Gatorade? Is that what
I guess. No, I guess the play calling or whatever he was referring to, but still.
He also called Daniel Jones a tough sucker, which was good.
And that's what we were texting about. I mean, he's straight up a tough son of a bitch. That's just what it is.
Oh, 100%, man. You see him get hit and he just pops right back up, nothing.
He got hit in the head on that one run, and it was just all right.
Press conference, they're always like, how do you feel after getting beat up? He's like, I'm fine. Everything's great.
There was a meme. Was it a meme or I don't know what the hell it was. There was like something on Twitter about how like Daniel Jones couldn't be more pumped about the win, and it's just like him like.
Yeah.
Oh, like right after right after the clock expires, the camera goes to Daniel Jones and he's just like deadpan, just nothing. He looks like Eli does after he takes a shit. I would imagine what his face might look like,
But that's the comparison that you can have with the Eli kind of temperament, which if he puts together the smart football play and his physical talents with his calm demeanor, that is the perfect New York quarterback. I don't care about personality. Dan, I know you want one so bad, but if we had Baker Mayfield here with a big bombastic personality, what does that really get us?
Well, I'd like him to have more talent than Baker Mayfield.
Well, that's not my point. What I'm saying is like I would take deadpan, quiet, calm, and boring as a person as long as he puts together the other stuff.
Can I bring up a fun, Panthers thing that reminds me of such an old Giants move, is that they want Baker Mayfield to help pick the head coach because the front office has already decided that Baker Mayfield is the guy. So could you imagine being a coach coming into the Panthers where your quarterback has already been decided for you and he picked you to be the head coach?
I saw that.
How is that a successful maneuver to make for a franchise?
Is this actually how they're doing things?
I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of speculation. I think, we're on a podcast to make speculation, are we not? I think the DJ Moore thing is another thing to talk about too.
Yes.
Because the Giants and Odell Beckham as well. I mean, the Giants clearly need help at wide receiver. Richie James is your number one receiver with 171 yards. Obviously, we saw Slayton. I don't think Galladay is going to contribute. I don't think Tony's going to contribute. Wandale, we'll see what happens. But other than that, there's really nobody here. The contract is what's tough for DJ Moore. I think it's huge. I don't know how you bring him on, but it just makes me kind of believe, right now that, maybe the Giants are buyers perhaps for a position, but they need to offload contracts though. Yeah. Well, I mean, the roster is bad and they're winning games, as we said before. So maybe it is the time, to make a push early. Maybe we, we're wrong about this season. Maybe you do make a push, maybe try to make the roster better. I'm not saying, mortgage the future of the team, but if you trade a third and Tony for DJ Moore, I don't think that's a bad move if you can figure out a way to get the contract to work.
Yeah, I think the takeaway from that rumor is what you're alluding to, TJ, is like it indicates, if that rumor is true, the Giants are viewing this season differently than they were at the beginning of the season. Contemplating bringing in a impactful skill position player in the middle of the season, giving up perhaps some draft equity, indicates, they, see the playoffs as a real possibility, and they see making a run as a real possibility, which would have, great, positive impact on the team moving forward. And why not shoot your shot when you can shoot it? I'm with you. I think, DJ Moore. You also said that rumor had Terrace Marshall, right?
Yeah.
Some guy that's severely underperformed, but it has a lot of raw ability. You could perhaps get him for a lot less than you could get DJ Moore, and still be a huge upgrade to pretty much everything we got going.
I think we've seen from this coaching staff, Dan, too. We've seen Zimenez and Dexter Lawrence have really, hit their stride. Obviously, defensive players and offensively, but perhaps bringing in guys with raw talent, for late round picks, the coaching staff can get something out of them.
The fact that David Sills is catching any passes for any period of time indicates they can get whatever you can out of someone, let alone someone that has, real NFL skill
and impactful catches at that.
Who was the guy they brought up for the practice squad? He made a couple good grabs too.
Marcus Johnson.
Yeah. I
mean, he had a couple of good plays.
Yeah, I feel
he looked big too. He looked like he had some physicality out there.
I just feel like there's a lot of plug and play going on with the scheme and just sort of the on the fly sort of decisions that the coaching staff is making as time, goes through the game. They're really seeing things at a level, I think, that, is hard for a lot of even professional coaches to see things at. It's just that good what they're doing right now. I'm dumbfounded by it.
I think my favorite thing, I mean, obviously besides the intellect and the just the performance of the coaching alone, end of games, the exuberance and the pumped up attitude that Dable shows is just like we've not really had that since Parcells, period. Like literally, that was the last man, and even in his later years, he calmed down. But like early '80s Parcells is what Dable is kind of doing right now, and I love that tweet that I sent you guys about how Parcells was screaming at his own television about taking the safety and actually following through with it. And it's just and they have a conversation. They have an ongoing rapport. Like they talk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't compare the two other than the fired upness, because Parcells was like a known sort of dick, right? But Dable seems to be a kind of a player's coach, but the results are looking to, I mean, not going to compare Dable in his first season as a Giants.
No.
Or one
and
of
what
the
I
best
meant
coaches.
by that is just the firing.
No, I didn't think you were comparing it.
Yeah.
I was saying that I almost just did, but yes, the fieriness is there and I love it. But Tommy was fiery too sometimes. You can't take that away from him.
Different fire.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe Judge would have the presence of mind to have them take the safety in the end zone like that?
Hell no. And thank you for bringing up Joe Judge, because this was the point I was talking about, TJ, before Dan jumped on, that I wanted to make. I was taking a shower. It was either yesterday or earlier today, and I was thinking about the idea that what if no, this is shower thoughts. Shower thoughts with
you get your best
Malcolm.
ideas in the shower.
Yeah,
you've been on Reddit, haven't you?
Yeah. Imagine that Joe Judge's tenure went much better than it did, but not great, just very mediocre, very Jeff Fisher-esque, if you will. And what I mean by that is 500 record, shows some toughness. The defense looks pretty good. All right, there's something to build here. Kind of smoke and mirrors kind of stuff. You don't know if he's actually a good coach or not. Imagine if it went like that. We still had him as a coach, and we're still mediocre, like just right down the middle of the league, and we're no better off than we were. It's just interesting to think back that it really needed to take an absolute suck fest for us to get to where we are right now.
I think it took a suck fest for John Mara to decide that he wasn't the person to be in charge of the football operations of the New York Giants. I think that was the number one thing.
And I think we made a point, even like in the doldrums of the last couple of years on this pod, of maybe we need to go to the lowest of the low to finally start, reaching our way out of it. And this is the beginnings of it.
We're addicts of bad decision making. You thought we hit rock bottom with McAdoo and Jerry Reese, and then no, psych. No, we're gonna really hit rock bottom here by getting Dave Gettleman to run the show. And maybe we got to thank Dave for showing us depths of football incompetency that no one ever explored before, because there's really no place lower to go than Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman running the operation. And short of them failing so miserably, I think you're right, Glenn. I think we would have opted for a more conservative choice as the next head coach, and letting Dave select the next general manager, and something insanely stupid like that. We needed new heights of failure.
Jeff Fisher went 12-4 with Kerry Collins, bro. Come on.
They probably would have hired Jeff Fisher to come to speak of it. Give him like the richest contract any coach ever had to come here.
Although didn't Jim Fossil go to a Super Bowl with Kerry Collins?
Yeah.
But
when he wasn't drinking, he was a decent quarterback, I guess. I don't know.
But he was more fun when he was drinking.
Yeah, I liked him better.
More creative.
Yeah, more interesting to talk to.
You guys want to talk about the defense?
Absolutely.
Love it.
It's a one-man show, baby.
Yeah, it's the Dexter Lawrence show.
The sexiest
Dexy
show.
baby.
I mean, that's a guy that needs a contract. He's 24 years old. You give him a contract.
If they don't sign him to a long-term deal, I will be so upset.
Yeah,
they're not done.
The Giants are projected to have $65 million in cap space next year. Spend it in-house on the guys who have proved to you that they can fit in this scheme, fit in your roster, fit with your coaching, and can produce. Like, it's a no-brainer. Dan, I think you're going to make the same point.
Yeah. He should be a lifetime Giant. Why would you let him go? He can do everything you need from him in this system. He can stop the run. He's been getting pressure. He's a beast. He's great personality.
His dance moves.
His dance
number
moves.
One dance move. Yeah.
He's combining like Fred Robbins, Victor Cruz, and like a really good defensive tackle all in one person.
Yeah.
Linval Joseph?
Yeah, Linval Joseph, perhaps. But
Yeah.
I think his ceiling's higher.
I don't think we've had a personality like that at DT in a good long time, too.
Yeah, I love DT could traditionally have some of the best personalities in the NFL, at least when we were growing up,
Yeah, like the
Sapp.
Vince Wilforks of the world.
Yeah, I remember Albert Hainsworth stomping on heads,
Goose, man. Goose. Tony Saragusa.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace, baby. I just actually love when
no idea he died.
Yeah, he did. It's not funny. I loved Moose and Goose, and Moose and Goose, and I forget, it was Kenny Albert, I think. They were a tandem, or they were a trio.
Yeah. Goose was in the end zone.
Sideline reporter, but they would let him talk more than the usual sideline reporter.
Yeah, he was always in the end zone. He was never on the sideline. They didn't even let him on the sideline.
Also, he was in a movie, and I forget which one it was, but he played a Russian hitman. Oh my god, it was like some bad Seagal movie or something. I wish I could remember now. I'm going to text you this guys later. Sorry for everyone listening to the podcast, because I can't text you all later.
I'm bummed that he's no longer with us, even though he was a Jersey guy and he should have played in the Northeast and he never did.
Ray Lewis attributes a lot of his success to Tony Saragusa.
I believe that.
And I agree, because I say that a lot too, about having a chunky man to roll up the middle and let your linebackers do the work. And speaking of which, a unit on this team that we were all deriding for a while seems to be now all of a sudden in the last two games like something of a positive for this defense, and Jalen Smith and Tay Crowder.
Dude, Jalen Smith was ripping it up.
I mean, I can't believe that he just came out of nowhere again like he did last year and just performs.
And he's rocking those Rick James curls too, which I'm always about. And I don't think he had those before, so I'm into it. I mean, and Tay Crowder again, he's the leader. He's doing it. He's
of the linebackers, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tay Crowder.
He's putting it together of that group.
They're putting him in places for him to make plays, I think. So, but he's taking advantage of those opportunities, which is all you can ask from a guy who, once again was the last guy drafted in the NFL draft that year. So,
back to the line, Nick Williams too is stepped it up.
I just can't help but think about what happens when Leonard Williams comes back too.
It's going to be a big difference.
He's a good player, man. I think, we don't talk enough about the difference maker he really is on defense for this team.
Well, he's close. He practiced a bunch last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he never missed a game, but he missed the last 3. So you'd assume he come back strong and, probably stay playing the rest of the year if he can.
Yeah.
He's significantly better than everyone below him on the depth chart. That's for sure. And I think the exciting thing about him coming back is seeing what that frees up for Kayvon and Aziz when you have all 4, now looking at what we've seen so far, all 4 of these guys playing at the same time is going to be really interesting and could be really, really fun. I think we've all watched Kayvon get better and better every game. He had a great game this week. He didn't have a sack, but he affected a lot of plays. That knockdown was absolutely enormous. Did he have 2 knockdowns?
He did it on the first drive. He had a tip pass as well.
Oh, him himself. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see it on the stat sheet, but he is making a difference on defense. And either way, I mean, I'm so excited for him because guys who come up second, third game, the sacks are going to come, but everything else is just as important.
And then once Colin gets in the weight room with him, dude, gets him working on that core strength, living that healthy lifestyle.
Colin's driving down to East Rutherford tomorrow. Going to pick up Kayvon, go to Dan's house, hit the gym in the
garage gym. Yep. I'll make him run hills. I'll put my boys in the stroller. That's about 60 pounds of weight on a running stroller. Not easy.
Right. That's right.
Not
Don't
easy.
even get what do you got? The Upper Baby Vista. You got to buy a cheaper.
Oh no,
one.
no. We got a running one, dude. A double runner.
It's get out.
Yeah, you got to go on Facebook
TJ,
Marketplace,
you
man.
Double runner.
One for him and one for Riley.
I only have one kid, so I don't need a double runner. Also, I would never run.
No. Alex is running, and the 2 of you are.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, Alex is actually athletic, so she might be able to handle that. Yeah,
with an IPA. You can.
In a bottle, in a sippy cup.
Yeah.
We were pushing. We got this big old cart. We were going to the pumpkin patch today. Got Riley in there, and I'm pushing. And I'm like, I'm sweating right now. It's 60 degrees. I'm in the short sleeves. I'm sweating pushing this thing. Alex just leisurely drinking her wine to go. But I guess she was trying to make a point to me that pushing the stroller is harder than it seems, which is accurate. Yeah,
it is. You don't really think about it. But it gets you after a while.
Yeah, so we'll get Kayvon. No, don't give him the runner, Dan. That's just the cheapest.
Yeah,
Goodwill stroller you can find at Newark. Goodwill
stroller.
Goodwill stroller. You want to start a band?
Yeah, and we'll put Colin in the stroller. Yeah. And Colin can regale him with Giants history and factoids, so he could be learning as he's working out about what it means to be a New York Giant.
Well, and you know what? He might know some of the little trivia pieces, some of the ones that I wouldn't think he would know, because I think he's been one of those guys that really embraced it, at least from the offseason stuff. I remember seeing him, telling about how, he reached out. Strahan, obviously, we talked about that, and, Leonard Marshall and some of these old school guys from the 80s. And it's just all right, this guy cares. He sees that this is an organization with some history and some pride. And, it's not just some expansion team thing with no substance, and he gets it.
Speaking of team pride and substance, can you explain to the listeners what was happening to Darnay Holmes on the sideline?
Well, first off, he's got
nice butt.
He's got quite the ass. That I like that. No one's talking about that in this meme verse that's going on with him getting his front hamstrings stretched out.
Is that what they call it?
That's called it nowadays, huh?
I don't even know what possibly could have been happening right there, actually.
I'm just curious, okay, so his pants were down, so his hog is flying. So what's going on there? His I don't want, can I just say dick? Is his dick's just out on the sideline and they're just massaging his thigh?
We call it a Richard on this pod.
Yeah, Richard.
Was he just I saw where his hands were. It was just holding his boys off to the side while he gets his thigh massaged.
Was it like
It
an
was like
inner
a
thigh thing? Kind of like what? Dan, like, what do you think? Like,
I think
kind
he
of
cramped. I think he cramped.
cramp?
Yeah.
I mean,
Where,
I understand it's just, it's a muscle. It needs to be massaged by the trainer. But like, if you're an English person at this game that you're not familiar with, and you're just like looking down, you're like, hey, is he joking that bloke off down there, man?
Yeah. You reckon he's getting wanked?
Is he having a wank down there?
He's doing a wank, bro. He's doing a wank, mate. I feel like they like asked the Giants to all
Is he
do
just
their
taking a
best
piss
English
out there?
accents before they went to London, and we're worse, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Blimey, right? They probably
Not
said
for
that.
nothing though. Like seeing the game in that stadium, as you know, that's my Premier League team. It was wild to see them play there, and really
won.
cool.
They
won, which
they
is
won Saturday morning.
Yes, they did. How did you know that? How do you look that
I
up?
was watching it.
How come?
Because some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, can you put the Premier League on this TV?" while I was bartending.
Oh,
So I did.
very good. Yes. They
You're
did.
By
like,
the way,
was that
my Premier League team, Crystal Palace,
Good choice.
That's
Good choice.
fine.
Yeah.
because it's like a well liquor with the
Yeah.
same name in America. So I
gross
feel
vodka.
like attraction to that.
And also, TJ, a little side note: their manager is a former NYCFC manager.
Oh, well, I like that.
They're a fun team. I have a question for TJ. Did you see the clip of Jihad Ward talking to Aaron Rodgers on the field?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I did not.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. They were saying something. Aaron Rodgers was saying something to him.
Was
saying
he
something
mouthing
back.
off?
I was going to ask you what they were talking about.
Oh, Jihad Ward was like, "Why don't you get vaccinated, you stupid shit?"
Dude.
I mean, I'm sure.
TJ, you can edit this pod this week.
Well, that won't take much to.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, no one's gonna hear it anyway. You're right.
Maybe this is what we need. We need to get a little more. We need to get a little more adult here. We got to use
Take the
what
training
we
wheels
can
off?
do. We get because I feel like the three of us are a bit crass. Can be obnoxious at times. Myself specifically. So I mean we've been hamstrung by our uppers, our higher aboves have prevented me from
The suits, dude,
talking
the
about
suits.
getting jerked off on the sideline. But here we are. We're talking about it now, and you can't stop me. You can't stop me. I'm a free spirit. I'm a grown man. All right.
We were able to avoid this throughout Dave Gettleman's entire tenure, and now that things are going well, it's off the rails.
It's season 3, episode 10. I've been doing this for 2.5 years.
Too old for this shit.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, Dan, come on. Let's go.
Let's go.
On that note, this is my last podcast because if anyone finds out about it now, I will be fired from my actual job. So thanks, guys.
No way.
You won't be fired. It's just talking about, just a couple curse words.
No, it's just some locker room talk. That's all.
Yeah, locker room talk. Exactly, Dan. This is a football
Guys,
podcast.
Remember,
Shit together.
Locker Room Talk got canceled like 4 years ago.
If anything's gonna cancel me, it'll be this day, where because of Tory Jackson or is it Darnay Holmes?
It was Darnay
Whoever
Holmes.
it was.
Yeah.
All right.
So
maybe we should talk about the Ravens, or you got something else.
Oh, I was just gonna as a lead in, well, not a lead in, but like related to. He posted a picture or a bunch of pictures, Darnay Holmes, from the game, and all the comments were just like, "Yeah, but what happened on the sideline? What was that? What was that all about?" And he doesn't answer any of them. It's just like, how did you not think? You're just all over the internet right now, man. Like,
well, he didn't know at the time. He's probably just like, "I'm cramping. I want to go back in the game. We're gonna win."
But his ass cheeks were out.
I'm an important part of the defense. Well, you do what you got to do,
Why didn't they go?
Should have taken him in the tent.
Yeah, the tent. They have a tent. That's what
They
you
should
do.
have taken him in the tent.
Things.
Yeah. But they didn't take him in the tent, Colin.
The Wank
Because
tent.
Saquon was in there. Saquon's more important than he is.
Which, by the way, thank you for saying that.
Saquon was getting wanked in the tent while he had to get wanked outside. Occupado.
If anyone's getting wanked first, it's Saquon in this team.
Matt Breida did a fine stand-in job also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that literally the first handoff, he just like bursted for 10. I mean,
Yeah.
Saquon looked great too. Like the Wildcat was fun to see him out of. I'm just happy, he got a TD. I think he deserved it. Is he still first in yards from scrimmage? He's got to be.
I'm happy he caught that crossing route.
And I saw him out wide more, which I thought was a big positive.
I think they're listening to us.
Daniel Jones missed him, or maybe he wasn't open, but they threw him that way on like a wheel route or something like that.
The
Ravens guys,
yeah.
Ravens. Well,
100% going to win. Giants are probably the best team in the NFL right now. So,
my mother and I are going. It's her first game in a couple of years, so that's gonna be fun. I think it'll just be real fun to watch Lamar. Obviously, I do think we can win.
He has not been playing well the last 2 games. He has not been playing well. Defenses have once again figured him out. I think the Giants. Wink Martindale used to be on the Ravens. If anybody knows Lamar Jackson, it's probably Wink Martindale, right?
Did you say the defenses have once again figured him out?
Yeah, because I feel like he was pushing to another MVP season the first 3 games of this year, and then just started, whatever. He's back to being a normal person. Okay, Dan, I understand what you're saying because he was always always a hard person to defend. He'll always be a hard person to defend.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes,
but he hasn't been looking good. I think his defenses are doing better against him.
His passing has been way off. He has been missing wide open receivers quite often. Yes, something's up there.
But I think
he's not running as well either.
The Ravens defense has kind of taken a crap the last couple of weeks. They're letting up a ton of points, which is putting him in a bad situation where he has to be throwing constantly, which is not his forte. He's a good mix up the run, throw it, get weird with it. Now he's coming from behind because the poorest pass defense.
I mean, I think the Ravens were most successful when they were a pass heavy team, especially in their playoff run last year. They basically abandoned the run and threw like 70% of the time, and that's what took them deep into the playoffs.
Well, but that's not working this year.
Or not deep into the playoffs, but they made their run. Well, they haven't been passing; they've been really sticking to the run.
Oh, well, then someone's screwing up then, because that doesn't make any sense.
Their front office is screwing up because they have a tight end and Rashad Bateman, and they have no one else to throw to.
Yeah, that I don't really get.
Marquise Brown trade was an interesting one for them.
That was a good trade. You would do that trade.
I mean, they got a lot for him, but if you're not going to have at least somebody like reasonable to step into that position, and you're a team that's kind of on the cusp of you're a Super Bowl team basically, and then you drop your best player off your worst position group. It's an interesting trade to make. But yeah, I mean, if people are going to throw you, whatever they got, I think they took. They got a first round pick where they took the best safety in the draft. I forget his name now.
The dude from Notre Dame.
Everyone was Hamilton, right? Yeah, Kyle Hamilton. And you got Linderbaum.
He's been good.
Same draft.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, it's a good trade, 2 first round picks, but yeah, they should be looking to trade for DJ Moore more so than the Giants should be right now. I think.
Oh, they're in the market. They got to be, at least for Odell.
Well. Speaking of which, we don't have the cap for that guy, so we can throw the pipe dream in the garbage. He's not coming back, not anytime soon, anyway.
He takes a team discount.
He's not going to be ready to play until next year anyway.
The earliest, the end of November.
I mean, I don't see why anything is drumming up for him right now. When I was talking to our medical source, he's like a guy who tears his ACL in the Super Bowl is probably not going to be. People are talking about signing him in November. He's going to be ready. He's like, he's not going to be ready till the beginning, like after training camp next year.
You know who we should sign? Steve Smith Sr. Get that guy out there.
Former Raven.
Former Raven.
Oh, you mean Steve Smith that used to play for the Giants? His dad?
No. I mean the Steve Smith, the 5'9".
Ice up.
Yeah. The Panthers, Steve Smith, the guy that came into camp over the summer and was giving our wide receivers valuable coaching lessons. Maybe not him. He's pretty old, but someone like him would be awesome. I want that attitude.
Why don't you just trade for Brandon Cooks? Like everyone just trades for him, right? He's like played for every team in the NFL now. Might as well get him on the Giants.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, guys, keys to winning the Ravens game.
Anquan Bolden. That's the key.
Anquan Bolden.
Yeah, we need him.
Fitzgerald wants to come back for a Super Bowl run with the Giants, or
I mean, just so I could say, Larry Fitzgerald. Keys. We got to control Lamar Jackson, score more points than they do. and stay healthy.
Okay, so
Thanks, John Madden. Colin?
you could throw "stay healthy" out the window. That's probably not going to happen.
What is the Dory hurt with, by the way? Is he coming back next week, or?
I actually
I
didn't
didn't
even
see
hear
what
on
it
the
was.
broadcast what that was.
I think it's been minor. If that's the case.
Yeah,
I was reading a lot
precautionary.
today
That's
too,
fine.
and I didn't see anything really about him not being available.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah, keys to this. I think realistically,
Knee/neck.
the game plan, especially defensively, is probably not going to be that different than it was this past game. I know it's two very different kinds of quarterbacks, but if you get in Lamar's face and you get that pressure on him, it helps you out on all other facets. So keep that up. Wink, dial up those blitzes, and get the crowd behind us. Which we're home, baby. So.
I have three ways to beat this team, and it's Mike Kafka, Wink Martindale, and Brian Daboll, and that's how the Giants are going to win this
the
game.
only way. Yeah.
That's the only way. But I do love.
Those are the three keys.
I do love being Lamar Jackson being such a unique player in the NFL, to have the guy who was against him in training camp for 2 years more. I don't remember how long Wink was there, but he knows him well, which I think is going to really benefit this team. I think they're going to have the defense in really good spots. I think Wink is going to come up with a really good plan to contain him. And I think, like Dan said previously, if you can keep them on the ground and keep Lamar from connecting over the air, I think you have a good shot. And I won't sit here anymore and say the Giants don't have a chance to win any game the rest of the year, because I think they do.
Which is amazing. And that's the most fun thing in the world. Yeah, a good point, though. Mark Andrews could be an issue. Tight ends, obviously, perhaps the best tight end in the league. And if you can get Kayvon working out with Colin, how many pounds do you think you can get him to drop this week? Because he's going to have edge contained for Lamar Jackson. You need him to lose like 15 pounds. Can you do that, Colin?
I think I can do that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. 15 pounds plus 5 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, I think I could do that. I'd call him right now, but I'll call him afterwards.
You have him working out right now, actually.
I've actually put out, even before you had the idea, I was already going for it.
I know. Just trying to fill the fans in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anything else tonight, guys?
Keep on rolling. Let's be 5-1 by the time we talk.
5-1, baby. Giants win this game. I don't have a score, but the Giants are winning this game. I believe.
I hope it's 5-3.
I'm gonna call my dad and be like, "In your face, bro. Nice nice jersey, Dad."
Yeah. You former Jet fan, in your face, Raven fan.
Yeah, you got 2. How many Red Rice jerseys? You got 2.
Hey, you can't beat it.
He went out and bought another one after the incident.
Yeah, I did buy my dad's a Terrell Suggs jersey though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is the best. Which is the best Ravens jersey. I should have bought him Ed Reed, but I was in a T-Sizzle mood that day.
Should have got him a Tony Saragusa jersey.
Mm.
That's a good one for,
Peace. Peace. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter at BBU Podboys with a Z. Don't forget to download that DraftKings app. Use promo code TPPN. Don't forget to check out bookco.com. That's booksio.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great evening.
Super Bowl.
No.